So excited to be seeing most of your faces. For whoever's comfortable, feel free to take yourself off of mute and turn your camera on. Won't be here long, but let's get cozy. Give folks a couple seconds to get settled. Hi, page one. I see a lot of faces. Sweet. So I will dive in. First, I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Dzifa Yador. I'm a senior project manager over at Spotify. So you're probably like, what all does that mean? I'm the person who organizes a lot of the cross-functional teams, be it the creative team, the marketing team, PR support, on-platform support, anything to get a show or video concept off the ground. So some projects that I've worked on, namely, are the Michelle Obama podcast, Harry Potter at Home, and some content for one of our hip hop playlists called Rap Caviar, also R&B playlists as well. So the reason I'm here today is to talk to you guys about really creating your career path. And so I want to kind of start by giving you guys a quick snapshot as to how I got to where I am and hopefully answer any questions that you guys have as well. So first I'd start by saying, obviously I went to high school and I didn't really know what I wanted to do from there. It was really hard for me to really spell out that path for me beyond just knowing that I wanted to go to college. And before you're in college, you don't really know all of the offerings that are there. So I really had to lean into my academics, also any skill sets that I was able to identify of myself and things that I knew actually excite me. And at the time I knew I liked television, I liked movies, I liked to communicate with people, I liked to be around people. So I really just landed on that and went to college. So I would say in terms of trying to set yourself up for success, I would really do a deep dive internally to figure out what are all the things that you like to do and don't like to do and have that top of mind. And then throughout my college experience, I really, again, continued to have a lot of that mindset top of mind. So made sure to align a lot of my classes with my passions as best as I could, a lot of extracurricular activities with my passions as best as I could, and then also external opportunities, because I do believe that the biggest driver for your development will be experiences, and you'll get those experiences, namely an internship. So my first internship that I got during my junior year was with MTV on-air promos, working for shows like Jersey Shore, Guy Code, Girl Code, Teen Mom, all the moms, which was really exciting. But again, that experience really gave me the opportunity to figure out, now that I'm in this space, because I said I like television, I said I like music, is this actually what I want to do? And then you do that kind of test all over again to really check in with yourself. What is it that you like to do? What is it that you don't like to do? And reassess, because that will then take you to essentially the critical step and the critical thinking part, which is after you've aggregated all of these experiences and you've worked for different companies or you've tapped into your passion points, where does that leave you? Are you still very passionate about those skill sets? Have you developed new skill sets that you'd like to tap into? Or do you have a firm kind of idea as to what it is that you want to do with your career? And all of that can be malleable. What I determined as my first 5 years out of college did not actually look like what my 5 years out of college were. But that's okay, because again, this is a constant exercise that you should go through to really check in with what your passion points are and what it is that you enjoy. And so through my experience at MTV for quite some time, working with a lot of different people, that I just got great experience. But in that revelation and in that constant work that I did, I had to ask myself, what is it that I actually am passionate about? Maybe 10 years after graduating, can I do that exercise again? And that completely changed my scope of work. And I realized that I wanted to do something that was more for the world, really. I mean, what is a job that I can get paid to do, also be passionate about, but something that can actually impact the world? Because at the end of the day, we still have to live in this world. Work is only 8 or so 9 hours, but you obviously want to hope that a lot of this bleeds into your daily and how you are effectively bringing change to the world. So because of that, I figured out that I wanted to do something more closely to music. I think that there's passion in music, in lyrics, and something that is a driver, and why music is such a connective thread for us. So I was fortunate enough to find an opportunity at Spotify, and that's what led me to my next passion, which is really aligning creative with the right audience set, but also having a filter of what does the world need? The world doesn't need more trolls. The world needs more people who are using their brain and being a lot more critical about the things that are actually going to change the world, and then change you in your own position. And what is the thing that you can do to set yourself up for the next 5 years, 10 years, and so on. But as I mentioned, this is an ever-changing exercise, and an exercise that you should always continue to do and have top of mind and just really explore. And I think, as I didn't say, I don't have creative in my title, but what I did have to do is get creative in the ways that I was thinking about myself and how I wanted to show up in the workplace, but also in the world. So don't get bogged down by a creative title per se, because we all have a creative flair in us, and it's just really about tapping into yourself. So that's my quick spiel. I will take any questions if you guys have, or I'm happy to go any further. Don't all talk at once.
What are some things that students could be doing right now if they wanted to get into the field?
Yeah, great question. I would say right now is that exercise. You really have to just put pen to paper and think about what is it that you're passionate and you don't like, that you don't want to do. What is it that you want to try out, but maybe you don't have the skill sets for it yet? How will you actually achieve those skill sets to get that opportunity? So I think, again, that constant exercise and being in touch with yourself and what you're passionate about will forever be rewarding to your end goal. I did see a question. What keeps me going? I think routing the work back to real life is essentially what keeps me going. I do feel like I'm doing important work and impactful work, and I hope that I can make podcasts that you guys will listen to and inspire you guys to make podcasts and reach out to creators and tell different kinds of stories. So me finding a job that is more of a passion for me, but also something that I enjoy, something I get paid to do, but something that also impacts the world, has been a rewarding experience for me. And that gets me up in the morning, and that gets me on Zooms all the time. What did I enjoy most about my internship at MTV? I will say that as an intern at MTV, it was a very eye-opening experience in that I didn't feel like an intern. I felt like a full-time employee, and that I was given all of the same responsibilities as them, in addition to a budget and really needing to put productions together. So it was a real-life experience of the corporate world that I didn't think that I was ready for being in college, but being thrown into the fire that way really helped me to really think about what it is that I wanted to do. So I was willing, or able rather, to reassess after the internship, what is it that I enjoyed? I enjoyed the autonomy. I enjoyed being treated like a full-time employee, getting the full service experience. But maybe some of the things I didn't enjoy was, say, if it were to be the actual content that I was working on, again, because I wanted something that was a little more passionate to my skill set. But overall, the internship experience was fantastic, and I encourage you all to definitely look out for internships. You can never have too many. What makes a good intern? Also an excellent question. I'd say more than experience is a can-do attitude, because I think anyone who has a can-do attitude can actually get anything that they want done. And I think that folks who maybe see that you don't have the skill set are a lot more willing to invest in someone who's at least willing to try. And those people are likely the folks to succeed and win big, because they bet on themselves. They've also learned a new skill set, and they've tried something differently. If you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be? I would probably tell myself what I'm telling you guys, which is to experiment in the job space and go out for as many experiences and opportunities as you can. I think a lot of the comms around a job is that you get a job and you just stay there. And sometimes that's true, depending on the job. But I think it's important to note that after the internship experience, you'll probably change a lot of jobs, but more with the goal to eventually be in cruise control and in the position that you actually want to develop and see yourself in 10, 15 years from now. So internship is really that kind of speed dating process where you can really just run through the gamut of all of the different companies that you thought you would want to work for and all of the different things that you thought you might have liked. But after doing the internship, maybe that's not the case. Or maybe after doing the internship, you're so much more passionate about something that you want to change your career path. So I would say to my younger self, take a lot more opportunities if and where you can. Let's see, if you could recommend one thing, what is an important thing that you would like us to take from this Zoom? You guys are the futures. And I think it's really important that you bet on yourself. I can't name one job that is impossible to do. And you won't know it until you try out for it and just go for it. So again, back to the experiences, really bet on yourself. Put your best foot forward with a can-do attitude and just go for it. There's no failures, there's just experiences in it all. An obstacle I had to face, or how did I face them? If it's more tied to the internship, I would say probably learning curves. But again, me having a can-do attitude allowed people to want to bet on me and want to see me do well. And so they took the extra time to make sure that I learned the necessary skill sets and had the resources that I needed to be successful at my job. Then I'd say, generally speaking, any kind of roadblocks or obstacles that I've had to face in my career is, I'd say when you think about doing passionate work and think about wanting to do something for the world, it's obviously a moving target. 2019 looks wildly different from what 2020 is. And so I think that because my work is routed in the world and a lot of what I do is really led through that passion, it's an ever evolving cycle. So rather than doing the exercise that I told you guys to do at least once a month, I find myself doing that at least once a week to remind myself that this is important work and this is something that I want to do. And again, just making sure to check in with myself to make sure that I'm still on my correct path and journey. Before I read another question, did anyone want to ask one off mute?
I don't mind asking my question off mute.
Let's go, Kate.
I just wanted to ask how you've been staying creative during quarantine, because I've kind of been struggling to find motivation.
Yeah, it's tough. And I think that all creators, which is all of us on this Zoom, are all going through that. I think what helps me is going back to some things that I know I enjoy. So just going back to some television or movie shows that I know have always brought me joy, and kind of revisiting some of those moments, but also finding inspiration in that and thinking about where I was at the time when I first watched that and how it definitely wasn't 2020, but trying to bring that feeling of nostalgia back to my current state. And that gets me excited. I also love to tap into my friend and family base. I think that that's what keeps me sane, and checking with them, also checking in to see what is keeping them sane and creative helps me stay sharp as well.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Anyone else?
I have a question. Wait, I forgot what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask, like, is it harder to get material for for creative projects during quarantine? Because like you can't really go outside much, and it's like, you know.
Yeah, I would say it's actually been easier to come up with creative ideas, but so much harder to execute it. And it's because we can't go outside. So that's another reason why we need to get creative in our approach to content. So if it's asking artists or creators to film on their behalf and we license it off of them, or we have third-party production companies that we can hire to help them out with content, things like that. But I would say that it's gotten challenging in a different way. Anyone else? I think I have time for 2 more.
All right. All good?
Yeah, maybe I'll just ask one more from the chat. How do we get big opportunities to come to us? I think it starts with you. I think there are multiple ways to do it. One, putting yourself out there. Folks need to know that you're looking, and folks need to know what you're actually interested in, what your skill set is, or what you're deeming as your skill set, and why do you feel like you're right for the job. The only way to get it is to actually sell yourself in. So you have to be confident in your skill set and confident that you can do the job. And that's part of betting on yourself. Secondly, I would say is creating a network that can either be internal at your college, maybe alumni or professors, counselors, anyone who know people who are at companies that you may want to be at. Let them know, again, what your skill set is, what your interest is, and ask them to put you in touch with people that you can talk to or just bounce ideas off of to really start to flesh out what your career path looks like, what your passion points are. And then thirdly, always scour the internet. The jobs are always posting, they're ever changing. And I think it's really important that even if it's not a job that you might be interested in, it's good to see what these companies are hiring for. The experience that they're looking for, the skill set that they're looking for, and how that ladders up into where you are in your outreach process. And then bonus round, social media. I've been telling folks this a lot, but start scouring social media and identify the folks that you admire, and then do another deep dive and try to figure out why you admire them and what is it about their profession or their entrepreneurial spirit that excites you. And maybe there's something in that that you can replicate. Sweet. Thank you guys so much for the time. Great to meet you all, and best of luck.